Welcome to the first report of things you're not seeing in the Beacon News. Today we are going to talk about the Pacifica Square Asian Lifestyle Center located in Aurora's 8th Ward across the street from the Fox Valley Mall. You might be surprised to learn that the developer, the Windfall Group, is involved in a pay-to-play scheme with Aurora Mayor Richard Irvin. Stay tuned as we take a closer look at this development. The owner of the Windfall Group is a businessman named Eddie Nee. According to a Chicago Sun-Times report, Eddie Nee was involved in a development in Chicago that is now a central pillar of the corruption case against Michael Madigan. According to the report, Mr. Nee was scheming with several powerful officials, including Michael Madigan, Chicago Alderman Ed Burke and Danny Solis, former Rauner aide Nancy Kimmy, and Mayor Irvin's gubernatorial running mate, State Representative Avery Bourne, to get a piece of land in Chinatown transferred to him for a massive development. At the same time that Mr. Nee was scheming to acquire the Chinatown property, Mr. Nee also purchased the shopping plaza at New York Street and Route 59 that is now known as Pacifica Square and began working with city staff on redevelopment plans. The Aurora taxpayers have made a heavy investment in this project, with the city approving up to $15 million in taxpayer-funded incentives for Windfall Group's development plans. In return, Windfall Group and their business partners have made heavy investments into Mayor Irvin. Here's a closer look into how that pay-to-play works. Mr. Nee and his lawyer, former Chicago Alderman William Banks, sent in a total of $4,000 in campaign contributions to Mayor Irvin on December 27, 2017, just before the group moved to acquire the plaza in February of 2018. In the 5 years since then, anytime the Windfall Group has a request before the City Council, Mayor Irvin receives campaign contributions either just before a full council vote or just after. Like when Mr. Nee was looking at acquiring the plaza and wanted the city to approve the development plans with taxpayer incentives. The council approved this request on February 27, 2018, with Mayor Irvin receiving $8,800 in donations 2 weeks later, including $5,000 directly from Mr. Nee's company. Then that same month, the Aurora Council approved a TIF study, the first step in establishing a TIF zone that the group wanted that would have allowed them to skirt paying property taxes for over 20 years. This vote was followed up by $3,000 in donations from Mr. Nee's lawyers. The next donations connected to this developer came in a year later on February 27, 2019. Mayor Irvin received $700 in donations that day, just 2 weeks before Mr. Nee's tax-sharing agreement with the city was set to be approved. This agreement, which allows for up to $4 million in taxpayer incentives, was approved on March 12, 2019. In the 2 weeks following the vote, Mayor Irvin received $7,600 in contributions, including $2,000 from Mr. Nee, $1,000 from his daughter Judy, and $2,000 from Mr. Nee's lawyers. Later that year, in May 2019, Mr. Nee's daughter, Judy, and Denny Ma, both employees of the Windfall Group, appeared before the council looking for a liquor license for Mr. Ma's new business, Chillax Axe Throwing Center, located within Pacifica Square. In return for the approval of this license, Mayor Irvin received a $1,000 donation from Mr. Nee and another $1,000 donation from Mr. Nee's lawyer. There's one more ingredient that funnels taxpayer money into Eddie Nee's pockets. For more on this, we're going to go to Aurora resident Sandy Schmidt.
So Pacifica uses a business improvement development model, which means that anytime you buy anything at one of the Asian specialty stores or even Best Buy, you're going to be paying an extra 0.25 to 1% sales tax, which goes directly into Eddie Nye's pockets to pay for the redevelopment. So come on down, spend a little money on yourself, and then put a little money into Eddie Nye's pocket and Richard Irvin.
That's right, Sandy. This was approved by Council on September 24, 2019, with city staff estimating that Windfall will receive around $3.3 million from this tax increase. In return, Mayor Irvin received a $1,000 donation from Mr. Nee a month and a half later, and another $1,000 donation 2 months after that from his lawyer. Again, there's a year break in donations until $2,500 is received from Mr. Nee on September 4th, 2020, just 1 month before City Council approved an amendment to their tax sharing agreement that lifted the cap on rebates they could receive from $4 million to $6 million. The only donations that Mayor Irvin receives that is not connected to council votes came during his re-election campaign in March 2021. During that time, he received $6,600 in donations. Immediately after winning re-election, the donations started coming in again, with Mayor Irvin receiving $8,000 in connected donations between April and July 2021, just as Mr. Nee began talking with the city about the second phase of his development. To fund the second phase, Mr. Nee was requesting additional taxpayer incentives. After a small break in donations, Mr. Nee's daughter sent $500 on September 21st, 2021, just 7 days before the council would approve an increase in the business improvement tax rate at Pacifica Square. The following month, on October 26, 2021, the Aurora Council approved an additional tax sharing amendment with the Windfall Group that would allow another $2.5 million in taxpayer incentives, with final approval for the Phase 2 development plans passing shortly after. In response, over the next 2 months, Mr. Nee's daughter sent Mayor Irvin another $1,000 in contributions. Thank you for watching our first video in what will be an ongoing series covering the corruption happening in City Hall. Stay tuned for more updates.